Okay, let's try this again. Let's see if I can get it so that we can see the cards. Okay, looks like we got it. I don't know if you can hear me. There's fireworks going off, and also I have my AC on. It's a little bit noisy. I have one of those. I don't have central air. I live in an old house, and I got the AC in the window. You know, window unit. Okay, so this is cartomancy. I'm learning, so I may have to look stuff up. Okay, I have the angel number messaging deck. So I'm thinking right now of my Facebook friends lists. I'm thinking of all my friends, people that I know in person. Many of the people on my Facebook friends list I actually know in person in real life. And other people I met online, most of them I video chatted with or phone chatted with on and off for years. Only people that I know online. And even then, a lot of the connections and the conversations are very meaningful, deep, took a long time. No, it's not like a new thing. And I got number 77 as the overall energy for this reading. I don't know who this reading is for. It could be for me myself. It could be someone on my friends list. It could be someone that popped into my head as I was speaking. So if someone hears this and they feel that it applies to them, I hope that it's helpful. I'm going to ask the Holy Spirit in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to please guide this reading towards truth and healing for whoever needs it. And that if there's any negative energy, any intrusive energy that doesn't belong in this space or in my energy, my intuition at this time, I ask that that energy be bound and removed and returned to its sender immediately. I ask that anything negative directed at this reading, at me, the reader, or any of my loved ones, or any of the people that this reading may be for, be immediately blocked in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, bound up, removed from this space, and either returned to the sender where it will rest and remain on the sender's head, not to return again, or be broken up and dissolved into the ether of the universe. I ask this in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. This is only a tool. The cards don't tell us anything. They're just archetypes or symbols that help us tap into maybe subconscious things or things that we don't notice right off the bat. And we should never make any decision, any major life decision or on a pack of cards. We should always consult professionals. And this is basically for entertainment purposes only. So the number I received is number 77, which says that it is time to move on from the old patterns, habits, and fears. Now is the time to walk in the direction of your biggest desires and ambitions. Now is the time to be bold and be brave. Says number 77, angel number messaging. I am brave. That is the overall message, advisement from Spirit, the Holy Spirit, in this reading. Number 77, I am brave. So I use a method called, cartomancy. It's a regular deck of playing cards. It is not Lenormand, French Lenormand reading of playing cards uses only certain cards. It doesn't use the full deck that we have now. Okay. Usually jokers are removed. In this case, I've kept the jokers in. I was guided to keep the jokers in. And I used the tarot, which was developed later, as my um, oracles. Okay. Some people they will read tarot and then they'll use another set of cards called oracle cards. Um, I believe that the tarot already contains its own oracles in the major arcana, but whatever helps people, is not the reading police here, and I'm still learning. This is basically a regular deck of playing cards, two jokers instead of four that I did keep in this time because I was guided to do so. I'm not sure why. Okay. This deals mainly with numerology, etc. And no, the correspondences are not necessarily the same as those later developed in the tarot. Okay. So just so that's clear. No, the correspondences are not usually the same or always the same. All right. Spirit, the overall energy is about being courageous, being willing to learn yourself and break old patterns and switch them for new habits. I am brave. Number 77, that is the overall energy. So I'm going to congratulate anybody who this reading is for on taking a step to be brave, because change is very hard. Self-reflection is very hard. Admitting you may have been wrong or may have been doing things that are self or other destructive is not always easy. Life is a journey and we're learning. Joker popped out. Okay, often people who do keep the jokers in use jokers as a signifier for the questioner. So that would be appropriate. This joker is not necessarily the same as the Fool card. This joker is a red joker. I see red. The red suits in the correspond to cups, or actually hearts, right? Hearts, which deal with emotions, intuition, love, interpersonal relationships, and they also deal with pentacles. So we have love and money. This joker, this signifier, this person has concerns or questions or needs to be brave with respect to love and money. Okay. All right, Spirit. Okay. Now, the way that the cards are usually read in this is that we read them in a line. We sometimes use what's called the gypsy reading, which either lays out each and every one of the playing cards and then you read them in succession as if it was a story. Other people use the Golden Dawn method, which I am biased and partial to. Others use a 5 card spread, a pyramid spread, but they're usually laid out in a line. It's not the same as in tarot where we lay out maybe a Celtic cross spread, or you could do that, whatever spread is you're comfortable with. Look, that's too many cards, Spirit. I'm going to lay out a basic 5 card spread, okay? And we're going to see what the story is. Okay? Okay, Spirit, what do we have to say, or what do we need to tell this collective, this questioner, whoever this reading is meant for, about how they need to be brave, what makes them brave at this moment, what things are about to happen, what's in this energy for this person or this collective regarding love and money. Come on, give me a jumper. I'm not good at shuffling. I need to learn. I can't do it as fast as the other card readers can. It's not really something I have done a lot. I stopped. I used to read the tarot, the basic Rider-Waite, and I was pretty accurate. I was so accurate that sometimes I saw things that I just felt I was intruding on other people's stuff, and there were certain things I didn't want to know. I didn't like certain negative readings, and it was difficult for me picking up on some energy sometimes. So I stopped doing it. You know what I mean? It's like I can't. But I am curious to know about this method just passed down in my family and can be, if you learn all the numerology, you really practice it well, it can actually be very, very accurate. Very accurate. But I'm learning, so I'm not going to purport to be that good or that accurate with anything. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only. So, Spirit, Holy Spirit, what do you have for this querent, this seeker, this fool seeking guidance from the divine, seeking guidance from the Creator, from the source of all knowledge, all things? What can you tell me about their love and money? What messages do you have for me? Show me, please, through these tools. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Salam. That's too many cards, Spirit. Can you please give me one card? I'm very grateful for your guidance. I see 2, 3. They're asking me to take, or guiding me to take all 3. So we have a 5 of spades. We have a 6 of diamonds. We have a Jack of spades. So we still need 2 more cards, Spirit. I won't get into it until I see the remaining cards. Spirit, can you tell us, please, what it is, what message you have for this querent, this school, this seeker, or the collective of seekers regarding love and money at this time? How do they need to be brave? How are they being brave? What is the result of this bravery regarding love and money in their life? Or interpersonal relationships, money, commerce, the union between the intuitive world and the material world. Please show me, Spirit. Thank you. We're grateful for your guidance. Please show me what other cards need to come out. 2 more cards in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Thank you. Show me the tools to send the messaging from the divine. Thank you for using me to channel this message of healing to the collective, the individual seeker. There are too many cards, Spirit. Can you please give me 1 or 2? Please. Thank you very much. You must have much to teach. Ansalakina Hashem. Unshalasamanakina Hashem. I feel really strong. I have goosebumps. I feel a lot of surge energy surge. Ansalakanas. What does this collective need to know? Please, be my jumper in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Help me to use these tools to send divine messaging to those seeking guidance this time on Love Morning. We have Four of Hearts. Thank you, Spirit. We need one more card, please. Kalesa Yama. Functionally seeking on. Into this round. I got goosebumps all over my body right now. Kalesa Yama. Anyway, sure, I'm showing. Please, Spirit, send this messaging. Anything that is trying to intrude, interfere with, spy on, remote view, in any way interfere with the messaging in this reading from the divine, I ask that it be blocked immediately and that it be bound and removed from this space and returned to its sender and rest at the head of its sender in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Anything negative attempting to block the messaging or the healing for the seeker, for this reader, for the collective, for anyone who benefits from this messaging, anything negative sent in this direction, any intrusive energy that has no business being in space, I pray in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach that it be bound immediately, it be blocked, and it be removed from the space, and it return to the head of the sender, and remain at the head of the sender, and not return, or that it be broken up and scattered in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. There are spiritual laws, spiritual laws, spiritual laws that keep all things in balance. If you cross, you bring trouble upon yourself and everyone else around you. It isn't punishment. It's what happens when you mess with things you don't have business messing with. Okay, here we go. We have. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you very much. I'm grateful for your guidance and for you using me as a channel to look at these tools and these symbols and look at the archetypes and bring divine messaging to anyone who may be in need of guidance. All numbers, all symbols come from the Creator, Jah, God. Amen. So this is the Five of Spades. That indicates a separation, usually in the physical sense. For example, it represents a knife cutting something, literally cutting ties, cutting swords. It even is used as a card to denote surgery. Surgery, okay? Cutting of something, the cutting of ties, the cutting of bonds, cutting something off, okay? So something is cut off. Maybe people are in separation, they're not in communication. Maybe someone has a health matter that they're dealing with where they are dealing with a surgery. I don't give medical advice. You should seek a doctor for that. Maybe it involves the ending of a relationship, the cutting of that tie, the cutting of a tie to a job, a career, path. It could involve the cutting of contact from someone, um, pulling your energy away from someone or something, um, pulling your energy away maybe from these patterns, since our card is I am brave. It could even involve cutting down on something, cutting something out of your diet, cutting something out of your life, cutting something out of your routine, cutting, separation, but mostly very significant cutting, cutting off. So number five. Five represents change. So does 10, which is a double five. It usually represents conflict. The conflict and the conflicting energies and tension that stir up when there's about to be change. It's uncomfortable, sometimes it's unpleasant, but it leads to a change. Um, then we have Six of Diamonds. Now, I happen to know a couple people whose life card is a Six of Diamonds. My son and an acquaintance of mine have a Six of Diamonds as their birth card. A Six of Diamonds represents um, money coming in and money going out. It represents communication as well, messaging coming in and messaging coming out. Okay, so there is something cut off of communication, cut off of a communication. There's been a cut off of communication with you and someone. You're not in contact, you're not talking, or you're not talking as much, you're not regularly communicating directly with one another for some reason that's not been specified. There's a cutoff of contact. It could be for any reason, not necessarily always a negative reason, you know, but there's been a cutoff of contact. There's been an end to a certain type of contact. Maybe you were having this energy where you were flirting with one another and someone pulled their energy from some reason, stopped flirting with you and kept it on business. Maybe, there's been a disagreement and you guys are taking a cooling off period to reflect. And so there's a cutting off of contact. Maybe someone is in a situation where they can't be. Maybe that they are in a situation where they cannot be in contact right now. Um, For example, if they're undergoing surgery in their hospital, or maybe they went on a retreat, spiritual retreat, you never know. There's a lot of different reasons why people would have cut off or stopped contact or a certain type of contact, cutting off of communication. Now we have the Jack of Spades. Now, Jacks usually do represent actual people, or they represent the thoughts of a queen or a king, a person. But in this case, the Jack of Spades is the spy card. Jack of Spades often represents investigators, police, surveillance, um, or it just represents someone who's spying or stalking. This could be on social media, spying on you, checking on you, looking in on you, monitoring your movements, monitoring your eavesdropping, any kind of spying, looking in on. Now, understand that usually when we say someone's spying on you, it takes on a very bad connotation. And usually the Jack of Spades, the Spades cards are kind of sinister. However, it is not always sinister. For example, my children, they have special needs. I have them GPS tracked when they leave because I want to make sure that they're safe and they don't wander off. That is spying. It's stalking as well, but it's being done for a protective reason and not with any malice intended or any desire to control. Um, there could be a number of reasons why people would stalk or spy, looking on you. But in this case, I'm not necessarily getting a sinister vibe where someone is like sick and crazy and toxic and spying on you because they want to do harm to you, but more because this communication is cut off. They feel the need to keep it cut off, or it's cut off for a reason, and but yet they still want to know how you're doing or what's going on in your life. And so maybe they're watching you in other ways through social media, through word of mouth, through friends, asking friends about you, um, you know, if they see you around, kind of watching what you're doing, who you're talking to, you know, things like that. It doesn't come off as it comes off as odd. Like, why wouldn't you just talk to the person? Is the question I would have. But it's not, the vibe I'm getting is not, it's not law enforcement. That's not the vibe I'm getting. But it's also, the vibe I'm getting is also not necessarily malicious. Okay? More like looking out, or just for whatever reason they feel that they can't speak to you, or maybe there was a disagreement and you're not speaking to them, but they still want to know how you're doing, you know, so they're finding another way to spy or watch what you're doing, or to monitor your movements, monitor your progress. Okay. Then you have four of cups. Uh, I interchange cups with hearts because that's usually what happened in tarot. And the one suit in these cards, these regular playing cardomancy cards, that usually corresponds very closely with what later became the tarot, are the cups, are the hearts. The hearts and the cups are, they didn't really change much in interpretation, not much. So the four of hearts is the love card. Love, solid love. Like, you see this means love, loving. Someone, this person loves you, is in love with you, has loving feelings towards you. Understand, overstand that, understand that love, there's many different types of love. It's not always romantic love. It's not always sexual love. There's spiritual love, agape, the love of our humanity, altruism, love of human beings. There's, you know, love of a friend, love of a sibling, love of a daughter, a son, a child, the love of your family, your mother, your father, you know, there's different types of love. But this person feels love towards you, feels love towards who they are not in communication with for whatever reason, and who they're looking in on. They feel a deep love. This is a very strong card, love. Strong, strong. This is the love card. And then five. We have another five. We have a five at the beginning, the five of swords, and then we have a five at the end, which is a five of hearts. The five of hearts, the five of hearts represents a divorce, a separation, a breakup. This one represents a severing, a total severing. Like, it's very harsh, and usually cutting. You get the cutting energy. It represents a knife. It usually represents straight up surgery, like straight up, like cutting something off of your body, surgery, cutting. Very harsh. This here represents a disappointment, with a relationship, or it could represent divorce. It could represent an unfulfilling or unhappy union, or unhappy marriage. Something wasn't going well with a certain relationship. Now, I'm confused because we have this deep love energy where a person, even though there was an argument or disagreement that kind of caused a separation, or less contact or different type of contact, this person still wants to know that you're okay. They're still looking in on you. They're still checking your social media, maybe. They're still asking about you here and there, wanting to know how you are, what you're doing, how you're progressing. That's someone who cares. It's not, the feeling is not a feeling of like a creepy stalker. I mean, it's still kind of stalking, and it's still kind of weird and a bit dysfunctional, because why wouldn't you then do something to reconcile this communication issue if you're so concerned? But for some reason, this person doesn't feel they can do that, but they are in other ways kind of looking out, kind of looking out. They want to know what's going on with you. And they're doing that because they have a deep, deep love for you, a genuine, solid love for you. And it looks like, I don't know, maybe were they in a relationship with someone else? Is that the reason why they didn't feel they could come towards you to speak to you about this? Is that the why the communication ended? And now you know, they made a decision to break this off, or it's breaking off just because naturally there's already a problem in that relationship. I don't know. But this is like a divorce, a separation, a being discontent with the relationship. Okay. I'm gonna look at correspondences later. I'm not very good at them, but I'll check. I'll cross reference. So now I'm gonna ask for my clarifiers. This is the present energy. On this one, I'm gonna take my jokers out. We have our signifier, and we have what they're talking about: love and money. I'm noting that most of the cards here are love cards, with one that has to do with the material. Diamonds represent money, material, which is why later became coins or pentacles. Um, Hearts clearly have to do with emotional stuff, love. Swords are the element of air, and they have to do with the intellect, things that are not seen yet, not manifested yet to reality. We have no clubs, no fire energy, no clubs so far. We have water. We have water in the hearts. We have earth energy, and we have air. We don't have any fire yet. Spirit, can you please clarify for me? I'm sorry, Spirit, that's far too many cards. I know. I'm not brilliant. Spirit, can you please clarify for me the five of spades in this reading? What is this cutting, this cutting off, this severing? It's telling me to take three, but Spirit, we really need only one or two cards, please. I'm grateful for your help with one or two cards in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to clarify this five of spades energy that we see here in this reading. A reading that talks about being brave and ending negative patterns in favor of more productive ones. We have again, it gave me another five of spades. I guess it's telling me self-explanatory, sis. There was a cutting off. There was a severing of ties. I'm going to ask for one more clarifier, please. Spirit, with regard to this five of spades that we see here. Can you clarify? Can you give me any more details? Regarding this five of spades? Inshallah, Savior, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, can you please help me to understand? I'm stupid. If I wasn't, I wouldn't need to use symbols and archetypes and all this other stuff to tap into what you need to tell us. Thank you, Spirit. We have a seven of spades. This is now getting kind of interesting. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, the seven of spades is a drinking card. Did someone cut off drinking? Did someone stop drinking? Was there a problem with communication that was going on that also had something to do with a drinking issue? Okay. We'll look into it more. Cutting off, severing. Maybe someone went into recovery, went into rehab, and they're focusing on getting well. And that could be part of the reason because I know that in 12-step programs, it tell you to avoid people, places, and things and not make major changes while you're trying to get well because that can, you know, complicate a lot of what you're dealing with trying to not pick up a drink. Um, or they just decide that you need time to rest, or if you're in a rehab, there may be restrictions on cell phones, or a hospital, there may be restrictions on cell phone or internet use, or you just may want to take the time out and take a break from certain things, especially things that are highly emotional or whatever, in order to simply get well, get your stuff together. So that's a nice clarifier there. Okay, a severing. Okay, so Spirit, thank you for that messaging. Can you please assist me with a clarifier for this Six of Diamonds? Can you assist me, please, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, with a clarifying cards for this Six of Diamonds? We need only one or two cards, Spirit. Can you clarify this Six of Diamonds? I'm grateful that you're using me to channel this messaging to our seeker. Shunwa Khamis. Ooh, that was like a tiny little lightning bolt down the spine. Can you show me, please, Spirit? Ooh, I got the 10 of Diamonds. Okay, 10 of Diamonds. I'm going to reserve reading. It has a lot of different meanings, but I'm going to reserve reading. Spirit, can you help me understand the Six of Diamonds? The Six of Diamonds. Oshima Mandala. Thank you, Spirit. We have Four of Spades. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to look it up and do cross references. I may pause the video in order to do that. I hope you can hear me over the noise. So basically, um, the ten of Diamonds does not correspond to the same thing that they have in Tarot. Ten of Pentacles, it does not. The Ten of Diamonds often represents a thief, someone who stole from you, intends to steal from you, steal something, someone who's stolen something, someone who cannot necessarily be trusted or who can't trust themselves. Okay, not someone who's trustworthy. Ten of Diamonds. It can also mean that you are coming into money, that something is lucrative in the future. It may result in some kind of gain, and that you need to beware of thieves or you need to invest wisely, okay, to get to that point or to secure what you get, okay? The Four of, I don't do reversals, by the way. The reversals in this method have to do with the other numbers and the other cards that come up. So, for example, um, fire and water would cancel each other out, right? Things like that that tell me which energy from off the card and the number is stronger. Okay, so there's no such thing as reversals when I do it. Some people do reversals, I do not. Okay, I use that's the Golden Dawn initial method, has to do with canceling out of elemental energies to get to the root of what part of the card's meaning we're talking about. Okay, so, and numerical values. So there's that. The four of spades. I have to think about that. I'm not really familiar with spades, to be honest. I'm learning. The four of spades. An apparent death, a repose, something hidden. Okay, we'll see. when I do correspondence. Spirit, thank you very much. And I'm sorry that I'm dumb and I'm learning and I'm not getting all of your messaging as clearly as I know you're sending it to me. I'm humbled that you're teaching me and guiding me in a tradition that comes down from my family. I'm asking you, please, could you please clarify for me in one or two cards, please? Could you clarify for me this Jack of Spades? Who or what is this Jack of Spades? Can you clarify for me, Spirit, in one or two cards in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach? Also, come on, clarify, please. Holy Spirit. We have the Eight of Diamonds. Okay. Thank you. Eights often represent people. Which was super. Thank you, Spirit. Which was so. Spirit, can you please give me another clarifier for this Jack of Spades? Who or what is this Jack of Spades? What is this energy? Who is this person? The name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Points out to me that the Jack is looking at the four. They're not looking at the separation energy, really. They're looking at the love energy, the four of hearts. We have a king of spades. Okay. King of spades is a very stern king. He's a truth teller. He can be very blunt and very harsh and very hurtful sometimes in telling his truth. He can be hasty. Often when we see the King of Spades, people get nervous because it's considered a sinister and a dark energy. Now we have the King of Clubs for four of hearts. The King of Clubs is a paternal, loving, um, mentoring energy, a protective energy, someone who um, good at socializing, is a good social circle, knows how to keep up appearances. Usually, when we talk about keeping up appearances with the King of Clubs, it's genuine, like he's genuinely, but sometimes it can mean that he is it's a facade. The joviality and, he may be a different person at home behind closed doors than he is in social settings. But this person is someone who is popular in certain circles, certain social circles, has a lot of good connections in business, or is respected, or things like that in his friendship circle. But this is a dark person, older person, older, 35 and up, um, possibly married. And this person um, has a very mentoring, teaching, protective, uh, genuinely wants to invest in you kind of energy, almost like a father-like energy. Sometimes, almost, let's say, he has a good balance between his masculine and feminine so-called traits, right? Where he's a provider, a protector, a boss, but he also has that nurturing, mentoring, caring, um, philanthropic kind of side. Often he's very learned, he's very intellectually sharp, a scholar or a lawyer, um, a professor, someone learned in letters, educated person, formally educated sometimes, or someone who reads, scholar, intellectual connections. Maybe something that this person loves about you is your brain. Maybe he feels like you're one of the few people who understands how his brain works or how he thinks or his philosophy about things. Maybe some of his beliefs are kind of not necessarily out there, but heady and intellectual, and you can connect on that level. And that's part of why it comes in love card. He loves that about you. Maybe he's a sapiosexual, someone who is sexually aroused by intellectual uh, people, or intelligence, conversation also turns that person on. um, let's just see. Spirit, can you please give me another clarifier for the Four of Hearts? For the Four of Hearts, please, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Thank you, Spirit. We have the Six of Hearts. The Six of Hearts represents Cupid. That's the Cupid card. That's the highly male, like if you were to have a character in a romance, erotic romance novel, he would be like the leading male. This is a very strong sexual energy. So maybe, yes, this person is sapiosexual and is very attracted to people who are intelligent, able to carry on very intelligent conversations, intellectual pursuits, things like that. Maybe this is part of the unique thing he feels he has. He's looking at this, that our Jack, even though this is a monitoring, a spying energy, he's looking at this. He's looking at the Four of Hearts. He's looking at this love that he has. This deep love. This even not just like love in his heart, like emotionally, but also sexually and mentally. Holy Spirit, decide. Could you please, could you please, um, clarify for me these five parts? Thank you, Spirit. We have a Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. She's We have a King of Swords over here under this spying energy and a Queen of Swords. The King and Queen of Swords are a couple, they're a pair, they're a divine pair. However, they're separated here by this love interest. Trouble in paradise, perhaps? I don't know. Or maybe trouble in hell. Maybe they weren't happy and this person is connecting with another person who they are finding that they are falling in love with. And that person's energy is softening them from being this cold, just the facts, ma'am, dragnet kind of guy, to maybe a softer um, king who's not afraid to release his divine feminine traits, where we start to see, instead of cold hard facts, do as I say, here comes the double-edged sword, whoosh, off with your head, and blunt in their delivery. Maybe they're learning to soften how they speak to people. Maybe they're considering, being more nurturing and not being afraid to show their more nurturing side as a result of this love connection here. And then we have this situation here, this Queen of Swords. Let's see what the story is. Queen of Swords, Queen of Spades. Sorry, I keep doing it. And then we have also, again, the Six. Okay, so a Six of Spades is also a birth card. It can represent a series of dates of birth, right? So each card is associated with the date of birth. Okay, I can give you the date of birth of the person represented by each and every one of these people cards. I can tell you the dates of birth, and if it resonates, you can know. But I'm not going to get into that. We we would be here for hours and hours. Suffice to say that this is a Taurus energy. Um, and it's date of birth, date of birth, date of birth. May. Um, Also February, mid-May, mid-February is another date, mid to late February. So anyway, this is either a couple where this person is not signified by a face card, or this is an energy where the queen is looking at this energy and noting that there's a six of diamonds here and a six of diamonds here, severing. The six can denote communication. It can also denote a person. So this could be the same person. The six of diamonds here and the six of diamonds here can be the same person. My son, my younger boy's energy, his birth card is also the six of diamonds, by the way. Okay. So I happen to know that card really well. All right. So it appears that, based on this reading, someone had severed ties with a friend, an acquaintance, possibly a business partner, maybe a family member. Okay. Or they've severed communication with that person. Now, usually this is permanence, right? Permanence. Okay. It says it might not be permanent, but usually this is very severing, like it's total cutting out of someone, right? Going no contact with someone. The impression I'm getting is that maybe it was meant to be a total severing, or maybe you ended the tie intending it to be a total severing, but this person is not accepting that it's a total severing. They're taking it as a hiatus, an indefinite hiatus from communication. This has to do with healing from something. Now, I'm going to grab my trusty cell phone because I do not want to steer you wrong. I got a number 77%, which matches with the 7-7 card, Be Brave. And this is a number 7 card. Numerology is a big deal here. We have 3 5s in this reading. We have two fours in this reading. We have three sixes in this reading. We have two kings, which are 13s. Unlike the tarot, there are no page cards. So it's Jack, Queen, King. There's no page. So it's 11, 12, 13. Kings are the number 13, not the number 14 in this system. We'll also be looking at the number energy of this reading. It's already a long one. It's almost an hour now. The time, we don't want to, I don't want to take up too much time. So, also in the Bible and biblical stuff, 7 is the number of God, the number of perfection. "11:07 on the clock. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the 7 of spades. We cannot assume that it is the same thing. Okay, do not assume it is the same as this predates tarot. What I'm doing predates tarot. Okay. The 7 of spades represents the ability to cut away things and people that no longer serve your highest good, such as bad relationships or a bad habit. Okay? The 7 of spades person is fair, hardworking, cheerful, and loyal, and they may do many honorable things without sharing their good deeds. Okay? The 7 of spades means certainty. Whatever you've learned in a card reading, the 7 of spades confirms that it is true. It is a sign that the predictions of all the other cards are not an accident and that you should take them seriously. Sometimes the 7 of spades announces an argument or a quarrel. So if you note, I put in 5, which is a severing, an ending of a relationship, a connection with someone, usually permanent. It can also represent an actual surgery. When I asked for clarification, Spirit gave me the 5 again, as if to say, dude, we already told you. How much more direct can we get? We can't get any more direct. There's been a separation, there's been a severing, there's been a breakup, there's been no contact situation. These people are completely separated, or separated from each other. They're not together. There's not it doesn't look like there's going to be a reconciliation. Rastaja, there's no, something happened. There's been a severing of ties. There's been a severing of a situation. There's been you know, like if you cut off somebody's leg, that's it. The leg's gone. Um, and then when I asked for clarification, I got another 7. The 7, certainty, take it seriously, can announce an argument or quarrel. So there was a disagreement that led to a separation here. You see, it can also mean an actual death, loss of a valuable friend. You lost a friend. You lost somebody that you care about. Sometimes even to death, but I don't get that this is a death. It also represents hope in a weird way. Okay, but it's a severing, complete cutoff, no contact. Okay. There was a quarrel. A proposal was declined. It says next to a diamond, it's a risk not welcome. So somebody made a proposal or made an offer of love, offer of something. I don't know what it was. And they were like, no, screw you, whatever. Something happened. It also represents a quarrel. There's been a conflict. There's been a quarrel. There's been an argument. That argument resulted in a severing of ties between people. And if it's you and this person, but remember, the seeker, whoever this seeker is, whether it's the collective person or whatever, it's 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 uh it's about love and or money. Okay, we got a red card. The red suits are the diamonds and the hearts. I see more hearts than diamonds here. Okay, so a plan that failed, an attempt that failed. Okay, it talks about a heartache. It talks about resentment. It talks about grief, grieving a loss, grieving a separation. Seven of Spades can symbolize grief or grieving a person, grieving a separation, grieving a death, grief. And if there was a loss and someone did lose someone, I'm very sorry for your loss. I'm very sorry for your pain. If there was an actual death or a serious medical situation that led to grieving a loss, I'm very sorry. The Seven of Spades is also a drinking card. Okay. Alcohol, illegal drugs and alcohol. This person could have had an argument, had a separation, had a problem with someone they love, and contact could have ended because of an alcohol or drug addiction, because of some violence or some argument that occurred stemming from behaviors or whatever, from an actual addiction. This person could have cut off ties with people to go get sober, go get well. That's what I mentioned before. Okay. Financial setbacks. This also represents, could be a financial setback due to an addiction, some type of addiction. Usually this denotes drug or alcohol, but we can be addicted to sex. We can be addicted to a lot of things. You know, we can be addicted, I'm learning, to sugar. We can be addicted to gambling. You know, it involves a feeling of stagnation and frustration. Okay, if there is any chance to reconcile and it looks like there's not, or maybe the person feels there's not, it will take time, long time. Okay? It's usually not good. These are not good cards to get right off the bat in any kind of a love reading. But I note that it gets positive, a little bit positive later. So we'll see what happens. So then we have the Six of Diamonds. Okay. I'm going to just clarify because again, I'm new. I told you it often means communication. Okay. Restriction, withdrawal, nervousness, a situation that is unsettled. some money coming in, but only a small amount and not the amount expected or what is needed. A small or moderate success, but not, not meeting your expectations, but better than nothing. Six of Diamonds represents technology. So whoever communicating with this person online through social media or texting, okay? It appears next to the Jack, indicating that this Jack is shy or intimidated or afraid to come forward, which is probably why they're spying instead of outright coming and just talking to you to resolve whatever happened or to tell you what's going on. Maybe they're afraid to admit they had an addiction or a problem. Maybe they're afraid to, or maybe they're just a private person and they don't want to get into it, with you. Or they're afraid they'll be judged. Or maybe they judge themselves harshly and they assume that others will also judge them harshly for whatever's been going on, and so they don't want to come forward. Okay? So, the person is withdrawn this time. Then we have the 10 of Diamonds and the 4 of Spades. I already told you the 10 of Diamonds. You're going to have to leave your comfort zone if you want to be successful or see any change in your financial or other situation. Okay, which falls in on being brave, breaking your old patterns. If you do the same thing over and over, but expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. If you do the same thing that isn't resulting in progress spiritually or materially over and over, you're going to have the same problem. You're going to have the same heartbreaks. You're going to have the same toxicity. You're going to find yourself in the same types of relationships with the same types of crazy partners. You're going to still have problems with your finances, still, because the method that you're going about to get it is all wrong, and it's not going to get better until you admit that maybe your way of doing things isn't working anymore and switch that up. Look at your patterns, look at your choices, and switch them, change them, which is difficult. It's very difficult, and you're going to probably stumble and fall and go back to what is comfortable or safe for you, but it's no longer working for you. It's time to put your hustle down, yeah? You have to leave your comfort zone and do something new and trust new people and have new patterns if you want to achieve success, including material and or spiritual wealth and emotional fulfillment. You have to face the music. Like, you have to be willing to leave your comfort zone. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be weird. You're going to have to admit that maybe you don't know everything and you're going to have to learn. And you have to be willing to be teachable as well as to teach others and understand that life, every day of life is still, it's a lesson. There's not a day when you suddenly wake up and because you're a certain age or because you've been doing a type of job for this long, you know everything there is to know and you're right and everyone else is wrong and your way is the only way and it's your way or the highway. It's always a learning experience. You have to be willing to grow or you're going to be stagnant and the rest of the world is going to move forward without you. The world is not going to stop until you decide to catch up with it. That's how it is. So that's what we've got here. Okay. Travel, change, displacement. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's uncomfortable to change, but changing and changing patterns and not necessarily changing your location. You can change your location, but if you're still having the same toxic thought pattern, life pattern, if you still have the same refusal to learn anything new, if you still, you know, are doing the same old thing, you can change where you are, but you're not going to see any positive change because the change starts from within you and your way of looking, your perspective, your willingness to listen, your willingness to try doing things differently, the choices that you make in your relationships, not only your love relationships but your work relationships, the change you make in your relationship with money, how you use money, how you what place money has in your lifestyle or whatever. You have to change that or you're not going to see results. You can move anywhere you want to go, but that doesn't mean that there's been a change. It's only been a change in location of the planet and maybe some of the energies in that location, but there's not going to see a change for yourself just by packing up and moving to another state or another city or another county or another house. You're not going to see a change just by finding a new person to date or a new person to have sex with or a new person to move in with or a new person to have a relationship with. The change has to come with you, with your patterns, not an outside force. It's not, you're still bringing yourself with you to these situations. And if it's you who needs to change, if it's you who needs to change your perspective on things, if it's you who needs to be willing to open up, if it's you who needs to be willing to learn, you can change any partner you want. You can change your clothes, you can change your appearance, you can change your, where you live. You can change what job you have. You're still bringing yourself and your patterns with you. So you have to be brave by starting the changes from within you. Until the changes come from within you, you're not going to see any change. So a lot of the part that a lot of the Wiccans and other people who are spiritual leave out, they often say as above, so below. They forget as within, so without. Okay. So there's that. So, okay. It says if you have on the left of this, I'm sorry, if you have on the right of it a spade, which you do, it's a trip that's not going to be free of annoyance. You have to get off your butt and leave your comfort zone and go to another place, right? And it's going to be annoying, but it may result in good opportunities for you if you're also doing the work of making that move because you're changing your perspective and your patterns. You know, if you expect everything to be freaking delivered to you like a Domino's pizza, good luck with that. Maybe you need to go where the work is. Maybe you need to go somewhere else. And that's part of changing your perspective, your belief that everybody has to deliver you, you know, what you want out of life. You could just like sit there and be catered to. Maybe you need to do, the work of getting up and connecting with other people, actually spending some gas money or a plane ticket and getting up off your behind and going to where the work is happening or the, things are happening. being willing to travel, being willing to make a little bit of a sacrifice, to your comfort to get what it is that you want, right? Or to network, or whatever it is, you know? All right. The Ten of Diamonds represents the 15th to 21st of November. So maybe there's a person, or that's a time when you would be having to move to a different location or whatever. Okay, let's see. Four of Spades. And I'm sorry that I have to look stuff up, but I am learning. I find the Four of Spades here very interesting, by the way. The four of spades have to do with your daily patterns, your day-to-day lives, the struggles you endure, the financial situations, interpersonal relationships. Okay. A momentary pause. You're pausing your connections with certain people in your life. Spades. Four of spades. Period of loneliness. You're feeling lonely in your relationship. You're feeling lonely in your situation. You're feeling isolated. Well, that's because you're isolating yourself. You're disappointed. You're brokenhearted. You have a karmic debt. You have a duty to yourself or other people that you feel is holding you down. It means that when difficulties come up, you isolate, you run, you renounce, you abandon instead of facing things head on sometimes. And maybe you need to change that. Maybe you need to change that. Maybe you need to question your perspective. You know, disorder leading to resignation. It encourages you to self-reflect and self-question, find solutions to get over your difficulties. Okay. Says that there's a woman in your family or your energy that can cause you a problem. It's an external evidence. Maybe it's somebody slowing down your progress, or an event that comes up that slows you down, keeps you from moving forward on something you wanted to move forward on. It says that you need to take distance from certain people in your professional and personal circles and examine the patterns in those relationships. It is short-term difficulties. Okay. There's restriction though. Six of spades does represent restriction. Okay. Often in money, not having enough money to move forward or whatever. Okay. And feeling stuck in that pattern. So maybe you need to look at how you handle debt and money and make a change in how you handle things or what you set as priorities or how you budget or whatever in order to stop that cycle. Okay. Now we have the Jack of Spades. He's facing this Four of Hearts. He's turning away from this argument. He's turning away from this issue with possible drug, alcohol addiction. He's turning away from patterns that are restricting him. Okay. He's turning away from maybe being dishonest or being a thief or um, from being unwilling to budge or to move on certain things, unwilling to maybe change his perspective or try to see things from maybe another person's point of view. He's turning away from that and he's looking this way. So, what do we have here about this jack? About this jack of spades? So, we have an eight of diamonds and we have a king, a king of spades. The king of spades is very similar to the king of swords and is a truth teller with no mercy on it. But you have to remember, though, that the truth is a double-edged sword. So are we willing to tell the truth about others? Are we willing to look at the truth about ourselves? Okay, so that's an important thing. So we have the king of spades and we have the eight of diamonds. I just want to take a look at the eight of diamonds for a minute. I find it interesting. I want to see something about these eight of diamonds. Hmm. Eight of diamonds represents that you have freedom of choice in the highest degree. You have the ability to choose and to change your destiny. So many of the problems that you're experiencing are self-imposed because you're clinging to patterns and thoughts and ideas and perspectives that no longer serve you and that may not necessarily be as based in fact and in truth as you think they are. Okay. And you're being challenged to look at that. Eight of diamonds is non-committal and unpredictable. One minute they want one thing, another minute they want a different thing, and uh they need to make up their mind what it is they want and focus on that goal. Um, they also need to take calculated risk. Everything involves a risk. There's not going to be a situation where you are 100% assured that if you move towards this situation, this person, this job, it's going to be 100% effective. You will never get hurt again. You will never make a mistake again. You will never lose money again. You will never be in a natural disaster again. You will never be the victim of a crime again. You will never, stub your toe on something and bleed again. You will never lose money again. There's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as that. So the more that you sit stagnant because you're afraid of pain or mistakes or setbacks happening to you again, like you'll be stuck forever because you can't guarantee that. And those things are going to happen to some degree or another because that's life. And it is how we learn, you know. It's hard when we're wounded and we're trying to heal. We want to say, I'm never ever going to love again. I'm never ever going to trust again. I'm never, but that's not realistic. And that mentality is the very thing that brings more heartache and pain and separation to you, you know? So, the eight of diamond often means bad words, bad actions, and bad travel. Okay. It's possible that people have slandered or spoken ill of you, or that you've taken a risk and you've traveled somewhere hoping that things would get better for you and they didn't. It was like you lost more moving, changing location than you would have if you had stayed. So it was maybe a bad investment or a bad decision. you know, your efforts were unsuccessful, like your efforts were unsuccessful, you know. Um, I need you to go because I'm doing a reading, but I'll talk to you in a little while. Yeah, you can. Okay? If there's anything else you need, unless it's an emergency, we'll talk about it after the reading, okay? Okay. Get the correct one, honey bear. Good job. I love you. Okay, so then it also represents the country, living in a rural area. Sometimes that can also, although it's wonderful because you're near nature, it can also cause you to feel and be restricted in a way, isolated. You know, it's hard to get to places or cost more money to get to places because you're farther away. Um, this talks about an indiscretion that you made that you shouldn't have made that maybe caused an obstacle, difficulties and complications in a family or business that you felt was initially running smoothly, is no longer running smoothly. Okay. And this king spades, man, he's no joke. He can be very harsh. He can. Someone who's ambitious and logical, but not in touch with his emotions and not very romantic. Okay. He's wise, mastery, authority. He also can be a bit narcissistic, can be full of the ego. He can be selfish. He can he can expect everything to revolve around him, his feelings, his needs, his goals, his wants, and not really give much of a crap about anybody else's. It says that it's a man of bad taste who is a predator and seeks to use you for his own ends. It will often indicate a love affair with the wrong man. You may know that this king is bad for you, but you still want him. So that may be a trauma bond. You have the ability to resist him. All you have to do is say no. Someone who seeks harm to you, okay? Someone who is a lawman, perhaps a corrupt lawman, a widower, a divorced person, somebody who's envious and wants to see you fail in a weird way. Maybe this person is a friend and loves you many ways, but because they're in a bad situation or a situation, a toxic situation, or maybe because they've had a breakup or a severing, maybe this person, they're going through a breakup and then they see you, for example, finding a partner, finding somebody who makes you happy, and they're trying to not show it because they know it's not popular, but they're jealous of you. So now they're secretly hoping you guys break up or doing things to mess up your relationship just because they're jealous. Or maybe they are a friend to you in all other respects, but then they see you doing well in business when they're over here stagnant and unemployed and houseless or near houselessness, or having arguments with the family about the fact that they're not pulling in enough money, and then they see you come along and you're doing well and you're being successful, you know, and they're secretly jealous of your uh real or perceived financial success or real or perceived career success. A lot of times people who are jealous of us, they blow us way much more out of proportion than reality. Like somebody, you may have $100,000. The person who's jealous of you thinks you have 1 million, and they'll hate you. You know what I mean, for it. Meanwhile, you don't really have much more than them, but to them, because they're in that energy, it's crazy. It's like they both, jealousy is a weird, twisted form of love and admiration, actually, if you think about it. And so they want to see you fall, or they want what you have, so they might try to cheat you out of it. Or they might, sour grapes it, speak ill of you to try to make it look like your accomplishments or things that you've earned, you didn't really earn. But that's to salve their own feeling of inadequacy because they're comparing their selves to you. There's an old saying, don't compare your out insides to other people's outsides because you don't know. But that's what happens when people are very jealous. This is also can indicate a man who only wants sex. Maybe he's a sex addict. He only wants sex. He doesn't care about your feelings. He just wants to use you. Um, it could be somebody who's a corrupt lawman, a corrupt lawyer. Okay, it can mean rivalry. It can mean someone who's divorced, and seeking a marriage or relationship with another divorced person. It can mean the failure of a relationship that looked promising. You know, um, see, sorrow caused by a divorced man or refusal to marry, or maybe made an offer to someone to marry them or to join with them, and there was an argument, and they said, "No, I don't want anything to do with you. This is your drinking problem. Or I don't want anything to do with you for whatever reason," and that caused pain. Um, eh, Again, he's looking at this. So let's see what the story is. Now I have a Four of Hearts, right? Which is the love card. He's looking at this. So maybe this is someone who's looking at this and is jealous of it. Maybe this person severed ties with you or you severed ties with them, right? And ever since you guys severed ties, they've had a problem with their abundance. They've had a problem um, finding somebody else like you know, and they're in heartache. They're not necessarily showing, and they're trying to get over a deep heartache, and they are having a lot of angry feelings, vindictive feelings because of whatever happened to cause this separation. Um, and they're looking maybe at your love relationship or at someone you may be interested in having a love relationship with, or maybe they're looking at the new person after breaking up with you or whatever, or maybe there was infidelity and they're looking at you happy with that person now that it's severed and they're having a hard time. So maybe this is a situation where there was a severing due to dishonesty or infidelity, or maybe there was an infidelity that occurred when someone was drinking or using, or because a person has a problem with that, and it has led to a lot of pain. Cheated, person feels cheated. That could be the thief card too. And things are kind of in a weird hiatus, and this person is feeling have going through whatever they're going through because of that, and now they are looking at this love relationship. It's a highly sexual relationship with this king of clubs. It could be that this person, I'm getting the feeling of infidelity, was a friend. They knew each other. That kind of sucks. I'm so sorry. If I'm picking up the correct vibe now, I'm really sorry that that happened. Like if it was a close friend and your partner cheated with your close friend, clearly wasn't that great of a friend. That has to suck. And it's still not final. Maybe you have to live together. Sometimes people have to live together while they're getting divorced. Damn. My heart goes out to you. I'm very sorry. That feeling of grief, when you lose a relationship or you're on the receiving end of an infidelity, it's a grieving process. All the stages of grief you go through. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then slander and gossip about you and about your character. They're the ones who did wrong by you. I'm so sorry. And then watching this happen, monitoring this situation, watching this happen. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Now I see what this is about. And then five, we have a divorce. Well, thank God you didn't stay so they could screw you over some more. A divorce with a queen of swords. Okay. And then we're back to that restrictions, monetary restrictions having to do with it. My God. Feeling restricted, feeling stuck, feeling trapped. I'm so sorry to whoever this is, if that's the energy I'm getting and I'm correct. So the queen, so you guys are equally matched in your anger and animosity towards each other, apparently, because, you know, who's right and who's wrong. Maybe trying to be civil about it and not having an outlet for the fact that you want to wring their neck. You know what I mean? And like kill this dude, right? Like if killing this dude would fix it, right? Because the person who had the commitment with you is the queen. She was your counterpart, right? She made a promise to you. I never understood the people who go after the person, like who their spouse or their partner cheated with. Like, I get that this person's, their hands aren't clean, right? If they knew that people were married, they knew that there was a situation, they went for it anyway. That's kind of slimy. However, they didn't walk down the aisle and sign some papers and say, I do. That person who you were married to did. They're the ones who have an obligation to walk away from that situation and or not pursue it in the first place, not entertain it, right? And apparently that's not what happened, right? So I'm sorry if that's what I'm getting. There was infidelity. It had to do with somebody got drunk or was drinking or went back to drinking or something like that, and or high or whatever it was, or maybe they have a sex addiction or whatever it is, whatever happened here, and they messed with somebody else. There was an argument. They got found out. There was an argument about it. That's what I'm gathering. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay. And then we have this divorce. This is divorce. Divorce from this queen of swords. Okay. Um, who felt that due to whatever was going on, she had a right. I wouldn't, I don't know. And it's resulting in restrictions. Restrictions towards who? I don't know. Restrictions. I'm going to cross reference one other thing and then I'm going to end this reading because it's taking a long time. It's taking me a long time to piece it together because I'm new. I'm so sorry. I should have picked up on what this was about right away, and it took me a while because I'm learning. So basically, that's what happened. There was somebody who was not faithful. It led to an argument, a discovery in an argument, a severing of ties, a grieving, a deep, deep grieving process. Maybe this infidelity occurred due to an alcohol or drug issue. Um, on the part of the person who was not faithful, not necessarily on the part of the person who was betrayed. A lot of people will use that as their excuse, right? Um, it's caused a restriction in finances. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, or perhaps move out of your circle, your social circle for a little bit, or whatever it is. Make some changes to your life that are very inconvenient. Travel here and there, and it's kind of inconvenient and annoying, but it's necessary in order for you to later move forward in your life, and you're gonna develop a whole new set of social circles. Sometimes that happens. Makes you question your social circle if it was a friend, close friend who this happened with. And then there's this energy of having to watch them be together, maybe wanting to move on to something new, but not being ready because you have to heal right first, and maybe having a new love interest, but you're kind of watching them maybe be with someone else, and it just hurts like hell. And then a divorce, final separation, which hopefully will bring you some closure from this Queen of Swords, right? And restrictions. So I don't know what the restrictions are. Shyness, withdrawal, withholding something, mm, feeling withdrawn, feeling maybe there's someone that you're interested in, and you're, because of what you're going through, you're not making that move because you know you have to heal, or you're afraid of being hurt again, which is perfectly normal and understandable. You need to go through your healing process first. There's nothing wrong with going and making new friends, and maybe going out for a cup of coffee with people, going out, trying to have fun, finding people who maybe you feel you can trust, even if they're new people who aren't in the same circle, and so they're not gonna, you know, impact the situation, but and developing a support system with new people maybe, or you know, people not all directly involved in your shit, you know what I mean? And just like making friends. There's nothing wrong with making friends. There's nothing wrong with going out and not sitting in that, hurting energy, as long as you're not doing it to the point where you are distracting yourself from doing the healing work, you know, um, but not constantly sitting in the healing work and the hurt, being able to go out, grab a bite to eat with somebody. It's not, you don't have to make that move now. You can take your sweet time. Okay. So this is what it's saying. You are a powerhouse. You can get past this. I am brave. It's not saying be brave. It's saying you already are brave. You already are brave. You may not feel that, but you are. You are brave. And so it's time to move from old patterns, habits, and fears. Maybe through this experience, you've learned something about yourself. I'm not saying that this was your fault. I'm saying that even in the worst things that happen to our life in our lives, there are lessons that we can use to better our situation and better ourselves, right? You know, and so this is a challenge now. What can you learn from this situation? You walk in the direction of your biggest desires and ambitions. Are you willing to be bold and be brave? And this says that you are. I am brave. I am brave. It doesn't say you need to be that. It says this is the energy you're in. You're brave. You're trying to move forward and do the healing work. And I commend you for that, because it's not easy. So that I don't know if that resonates with anyone. We have 11:55 on the clock. I've been on for a couple hours. This is a long ass. I don't know how these people are gonna how they're able to upload this stuff, but I'm gonna upload it in case it's helpful to someone else. I'm going to. Which deck do I want to use now? Like I said, a lot of people they'll use Oracle deck for final advice or whatever. And I always found that weird with tarot. I'm not saying they're wrong. Everybody does things, the way that works for them and whoever they read for. But the thing that I find odd about that is that the tarot itself, the Rider Waite, which is what I'm using right now, the regular Rider Waite, these are really pretty ones. Um, the Rider Waite has its own oracle cards, right? It does. They're called the Major Arcana. And usually they're mixed in with the regular cards. And when they come up, we know that this is a very important thing from Spirit, uh, the Holy Spirit, the Source, telling us what to really watch out for in a particular reading, right? So I usually, but not always, use as my oracle the Rider Waite Major Arcana, because those are the actual original oracle cards, right? They were, well, when the tarot was developed. We had Kipper cards that were used, I think, for the Lenormand. No, actually, Kippers came out later. Kippers came out later, Victorian era. This is still an older system. Mhm. So I'm going to use the Major Arcana of the regular traditional Rider Waite as our oracle card or our advice of the overall situation here. We don't have an outcome. We have this is what's happening. You're in or you're about to, you're engaging in divorce proceedings. Okay. They will result in a restriction I'm feeling on the queen because of the reason for the irreconcilable difference, which is infidelity apparently on the queen's part, is what I'm gathering. I'm gathering that it was a straight up infidelity, possibly long term on the queen's part with a friend of yours, man. Gosh, I can't imagine. Well, I don't think that was meant. I think that was an error on my part. And if it was meant to be that card, Spirit will alert me. Spirit, I only need one card, please, as the outcome or overall energy for this seeker. I'm asking that this seeker be given guidance as to what to expect as their outcome or what advice the spiritual realm, the divine has for them to get through this situation. What can they expect as the outcome? How are they doing? Please, Spirit, I'm asking in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach through the symbolism, the Kabbalic symbolism that comes from the ancient book. Thank you, Emperor Reversed. That's not good. Emperor Reversed. Emperor Reversed. Try not to become bitter to the point where you shut yourself off emotionally and detach emotionally or start to hate women or start to take your grief and anger out on innocent people. when you have completed your healing process, okay, or maybe before you're fully ready, to complete your healing process, there's going to be other females, other women who are going to show interest in you or you may be interested in. It's very hard when you've been through something so bad to not compare that next new person to the past person you were just with. Okay? In fact, it's probably what usually happens. You're being warned not to do that. Don't punish the next person or expect the next person to jump through extra hoops or to prove themselves loyal or faithful or truly loving, you know, um, because of what they did not do to you, but what someone else in your past did. Be sure that you do your healing, your healing, you know, and try not to become so austere that you become abusive. You become the very person that hurt you in the next relationship, and you take the vengeance that you want to take out on this next person, because that would be really unfair and it would block you from being able to heal more by perhaps letting in a new partner who will respect you and will be loyal to you and will love you and will bring you joy, by bringing this emperor reversed, abusive, nasty, closed off energy into the next situation. It's very hard to not do that. Okay. This is the space that you're in. And as long as you know you're in that space, you have no business getting into another relationship. Instead, focus on your inner healing. Focus on, even if you got to go to counseling, or if you're not into counseling, maybe you have a spiritual advisor, you want to go on a vision quest, you want to go to a Buddhist, Zen, something to help you heal, to help you get grounded again and rebuild before you come towards another person. You're going to hurt them. And that would be unfair, because then you're going to bring lessons, karmic lessons upon yourself. Okay? And you're going to deny yourself or cut yourself off from a chance of probably a really loving situation with someone who would never dream of hurting you. Ever. But you're taking the stuff from this situation and transposing it on another person. It has nothing to do with it. We do that all the time. I've done it. I've done it. So just make sure that you're healed. Take all the time that you need to be healed. Be upfront with people. Don't mess around with people's feelings. Like, be upfront with people that that's where you're at. That's what you need to do. You need to heal. Okay? Most people who aren't selfish bastards and who've been, in relationships themselves, and at this point, we're grown and we've been in relationships too, most people will understand a need to heal, you know, um, if you're if you're clear, if you're not hedging and acting like, for example, 1 minute you need to heal and the next minute you're down. Like, don't toy with people. Don't do to the next person what was done to you. Keep focusing on your patterns that you need to work out. Keep focusing on them. And you'll be all right. Tell yourself that I am brave. I am brave and I'm going to be all right, man. So that was a 4. So I just want to do one last thing. So 5 and 5 is 10, 17, 23. 33, 37. The Jack is 11, so that's 48. 56. King is 13, so that's 69. 69. 73. 86. 92. 97. 97 plus 13. No, plus 12. 109. 115. And then we had the 4. So that's 119. 119. 11. 119. 11 plus 9. So 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 9 is 11. 1 and 1 is 2. So the number is 2. So the divine number of this whole reading is 2. Partnership, 2. I wish you well, whoever you are. I hope that this helped you. I hope that I was accurate in the messaging that came through. I hope that you heard something that perhaps helped you. If at any time I was blunt to the point where perhaps you felt offended, I'm asking that you and Spirit forgive that. I don't like to lie to people about what I pick up on, and I can get caught up in the energy myself sometimes. And I don't mean to be harsh or to hurt people's feelings. And then to thank my guides, my ancestors. I'm going to thank Spirit for using me to read some of these symbols and these archetypes, to perhaps send a message or tap into maybe some of what we don't always have the ability to tap into without that extra tool. These are only tools. They don't tell you the future. They're tools to reading energy around you. Okay. And you do not make life decisions based on a deck of cards. If you're struggling, if you're very depressed, if you're having these issues where you're grieving loss of any kind, whether it's because of a divorce, a death, medical issue, financial issue, please consider getting help from a cleric or licensed mental health provider. Please do not rely on readings from strangers online or a deck of cards to get you by. Okay? Don't do that. That would be a very unwise thing to do. It would. Okay? They're still cards and I'm still human. And often the answers, to be honest with you, are within. Something in your gut knows the answer. It's just that when we're hurting, we have a tendency to have difficulty accepting some of the answers that we already have in our hearts because we're going through a rough time and we're kind of befuddled. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, deep down inside of you, you know the answers. Okay. And if you need help sorting things out, call a friend that you can trust. Identify who you can trust. There has to be somebody you can actually trust. It wasn't everyone who betrayed you. You know that. And you aren't the only one to go through such a tough time. I know that might sound callous, but if there's a name for something, it's happened to somebody before, if there's love songs written about it that were on like the top 10, many people have gone through it. So you aren't alone, even though you may feel alone or you may feel like your situation is unique, and everyone's situation is unique and individual to them, but other people have gone through this. Seek out a support group, a support system. Talk to people, you know, who've been through it or who are also kind of going through it. Get a buddy system. Don't be afraid, please, to reach out for help if you need it. Okay. Um, some people rely too much on these readings, and it ends up being much worse situation because we learn by connecting with others, right? We're healed by connecting with others. And it's hard to do that when you're hurting, but please continue to be brave. Remember, the card didn't say try to be brave. It didn't say anything like that. It said, I am brave. You're already brave. You're already brave. You can do this. You got this. Okay. Thanks a lot for putting up with me for 2 freaking hours. And I hope that that was helpful and that eventually I'm more skilled at this and it doesn't take me so long to come up with what's going on and to be of help. Bye.